using the power of your mind and how to use it efficiently to create success in business. So I know it's a little bit of a deep question. How would you start with that?
Because I always hear people saying they want to go to the next level. And a lot of times the people that struggle the most with going to the next level are people that are already doing well, because they're very comfortable. They live a comfortable life. Their actions don't match what they're speaking into existence. Your actions, in the Bible, it talks about you need to have faith, but faith without deeds is dead. Doesn't matter what you believe if you don't take any sort of action. And sometimes being in a successful position to take the action, you have to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. Now, if you're already worth $1 million and you're coming into solar sales, for example, you might not want to go out and knock doors or call leads or do the actual work. Maybe move the money into a separate money market account or a crypto account, or put it somewhere you don't have as easily access to, and keep your checking account a little bit low. Keep yourself a little hungrier. For example, if your team is doing well and they're killing it in a certain place, and we find ourselves more working from an office environment, let's go out into the field. We're traveling to California to see some people in the field. We're actually probably going to move to California this summer for the summer program. Putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation will allow yourself to get to the next level of success. You don't need to go broke, but you need to put yourself in a state of hunger. The times where I've put myself in a state of hunger are when I've hit the next levels of success. When we left Freedom and we joined Better Earth, we stopped drinking for like 6 months. That was something that we didn't need to do. We didn't have a drinking problem, but completely separating from that bad habit allowed us to develop more skills and put more effort into building the business and launching. So those are just some examples, I think, of making yourself uncomfortable that a lot of people say they want to do, but they don't know how to actually do it.
Yeah, no, we always have this joke that every time we think we see a rep, we can see what our some of our top earners are making. Some of our top earners make 20 to 50 grand a month. So when we see someone get a check for 20K, we always make a bet and we say, hey, this person's probably going to go screw off for the next 60 days. We're probably not going to hear from them again for the next 30, 40 days. I guarantee you. And it happens very often because they get something that is a great amount of money that they've never seen before, and then they get very comfortable, and then that comfortability leads to them being uncomfortable because they ran out of money, and then they come back and then they execute and they go make some similar kind of money, but they're in like this endless loop or endless cycle. um, I saw a phrase, I really like it. This is a real good phrase, it's coming to my mind. So it's what do you call it, strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and then weak men create hard times, and hard times create strong men. So it's a continuous cycle. It's a continuous cycle. So and that's why that sometimes people say that if someone's very wealthy, then their children screw around. Sometimes certain wealthy presidents might have children that screw around and stuff like that. And sometimes that's a cycle. And planning, when you're even planning to raise your kids, and that you're going to be a specific level of entrepreneurship or success in life, it's important for us to know, to make sure that even children earn what they have, and aren't like just given anything that they want, so they don't grow up into that like endless cycle, basically. But yeah.
Absolutely. And the last thing I would say on this topic is the more people that are counting on you, the less likely you are to give up. So like if you're married, that's another person that's counting on you. You're not going to give up for your significant other. If you have children, you're not going to give up for your children. If you're taking care of your parents, you're not going to give up for your parents. If you have pets, you're not going to give up on your pets. If you're a member of your church or clergy, or you're involved in some charitable group, or you have some sort of vision or mission, you're not going to give up on that. Your foster parent, if you don't have something that you're living for other than yourself, it's going to be tough to get to the next level. Eventually, you'll make enough money to where you're comfortable. But if you have other people that are counting on you, you're going to want to be a better person to set that example for those other people.
To go even one step deeper, I think sometimes people, and we used that phrase earlier, which was "I need to see it to believe it." Sometimes people, they don't structure things in their mind properly, and it's because maybe ignorance, or just maybe because lack of skill. It's not taught. This type of stuff is not taught in school. So and if they're not structuring things in their mind properly, or structuring things, then they're going to have a improper expectation and outcome. So what I mean by that is this. For example, if there's a hierarchy of thought process, at the absolute top of the hierarchy, because we have a subconscious mind. People have read Law of Success or Napoleon Hill, if you're in the right vibrations of things, then you can attract the information that you need to know to create success in whatever industry you're in. You can attract that information. So how do we do that? At the complete top of the mind, um, there should be your belief system. So people's belief system is completely at the top of the mind, and people sometimes put this at the bottom of the pedestal. And then if that's the hierarchy, that's the top. Underneath the belief system is emotions. So you believe specific things, and then you have some emotions. They're overpowered, and then after your emotions is your thoughts, normal thoughts that you think on a day-to-day basis. So the thoughts are absolutely at the bottom of the hierarchy, and your belief system's at the top. So if you believe in something specific, such as, I believe personally that I will have a very successful outcome in having a podcast channel, very successful outcome in solar business, very successful outcome in whatever endeavors that we've gotten into or businesses that I've done. I've had a belief that I will create success in this no matter what, it will happen. And because of that belief, then my emotions are such, and then my thoughts are as such. So some people go into something, with the belief that they might fail, or this is going to be bad, or this is going to be this, or every time I've done this in my life, I've always failed, or every time I've done that in my life, just like you'd kind of said, and then that trickles down, and they have negative emotions that kind of don't coincide with what the outcome that they want. And then that trickles down, and they have bad thoughts on a day-to-day basis about what it is that they're doing. So, my suggestion in that power of the mind type of stuff to create efficient success is to know that you will always win, or you'll always have an outcome, or you'll always learn something that will benefit you. And then that will trickle down and really help you with your emotions and your thoughts.